Jai Jinendra, Jai Shri Krishna, Namaste, and good evening. We're here to talk about organ donation, organ donors, their families, and the work that the Jain and Hindu Organ Donation Alliance is doing to raise awareness of organ donation in our communities. I'd like to welcome Worshipful the Mayor of Harrow, Mayoress Anne Moore. We also have some distinguished other guests with us, Councillor Mohammed Butt, leader of Brent Council. Also have with us some other councillors, and I'm going to just quickly name check everyone, and if I forget somebody, don't beat me up afterwards, okay? Councillor Shama Tatler from Brent Council, Councillor Krupa Sheth from Brent Council, and Councillor Krupesh Hirani from the London Assembly. It's very much a Brent and Harrow affair here. So a really warm welcome to all of you. I want to also welcome a couple of other people. We've got with us transplant and retrieval surgeon Bimbi Fernando from the Royal Free Hospital. Very pleased to have you with us, Bimbi. And we are going to be joined by his colleague Reza in a little while as well. Today is all about, as I was saying, talking about organ donation and the Jain and Hindu community. The challenges we are all aware of and the work that we're all doing to try and overcome those challenges is no mean feat. The Jain and Hindu Organ Donation Alliance is a group of 30 plus people who have worked tirelessly to raise awareness in the community. Some of us are individuals, some are connected to organizations, but all of us are linked with a golden thread. We are passionate about organ donation. Organ donation is a taboo subject for many people still, and this is all the work that we are doing, and the events like today are all about normalizing the conversation about organ donation. It is my pleasure to welcome all of you here today. And before I forget, we have a guest here from also the Sikh community. So Rohit Bhai, welcome, and thank you for joining us. Rohit Sagu does some amazing work as British Sikh nurses. It's the organization that he represents, and they've done some phenomenal work in raising awareness of organ donation in that community. So welcome to today. I'm not going to talk about Jain and Hindu Organ Donation Alliance very much throughout this evening, but we are going to talk about some people that have made a huge difference to our work, the donors, the donor families, the living donors who have made a huge difference to other people's lives, and that's what we will be talking about today, to bring light into other people's lives, and that's what Diwali is all about. So, before I forget, I know Diwali's been and gone. Happy Diwali. And Anutan Vaishna Abhinandan. So it's my pleasure now to welcome two wonderful dancers who are going to be giving us a welcome. I'm sure a really warm welcome. So Mita and Sonal, who are going to be performing to a small stuti and then a diva dance. Mita, Sonal, join us, please.
Oh गणनायकाय गणदैवताय गणाध्यक्षाय धीमहि गुणशरीराय गुणमण्डिताय गुणेशानाय धीमहि गुणातीताय गुणाधीशाय गुणप्रविष्टाय धीमहि एकदन्ताय वक्रतुण्डाय गौरीतनयाय धीमहि गजेशानाय भालचन्द्राय श्रीगणेशाय धीमहि
साहुणं एसो पञ्चनमुक्कारो सवपावपणासनो मङ्गलानं च सवेसिं पढमं हवैमङ्गलम् ॐ नमो हरिहन्ताणम् ॐ नमो
Thank you, Meeta and Sonal. That was absolutely beautiful. Can we give them another round of applause, please? Now, it's my pleasure to introduce the chair of Jain and Hindu Organ Donation Alliance, Kirit Modi. He needs no introduction, but I will just try and give him a little introduction. So Kirit Bhai has been synonymous with the work of organ donation for many, many years in all our communities. He works with a number of charities, including the MBTA, the National Kidney Federation, the Royal Free Kidney Patients Association, and many others. So he was recognized by Her Majesty the Queen for his services to organ donation in the Platinum Jubilee Honours List and was awarded an MBE for his work. We're very proud of Kirit Bhai and the work that he does. He is himself a transplantee twice, and so he understands from a personal perspective what it is like for people who wait on a transplant list. So it's my pleasure to welcome Kirit Bhai here to talk about our work and his passion. Kirit Bhai, join me, please.
Good evening, and thank you, Prafula, for those very kind words. Can I first say it gives me great pleasure to add my welcome to all of you here. We're fortunate in having lots of distinguished guests, particularly the Mayor of Harrow and the Deputy Mayor, and Councillor Mohammed Butt, and lots of distinguished guests, but I'm particularly pleased that we've got a number of children who took part in the arts competition who are with us, and we'll be awarding them their prizes later on. I'm going to just briefly explain the journey of JOD, the Jain and Hindu Organ Donation Alliance. Again, organizations, sometimes you don't know how they start. The way this started was, I happened to meet Lord Jitesh Gadhia at an event in Parliament a number of years ago, and I said, would you support us in doing some work on organ donation? And he said yes, And that's how it started. Excuse me. So we had an event in Parliament, which Lord Gadia arranged with the help of Bob Blackman, who is, as you know, the MP for Harrow East. And that was the beginning. And we managed to get, there was a room this size in Parliament, and it was packed. And everybody was enthusiastic. And the people who came were people from our community who wanted to do something or were doing something about organ donation. I was by no means the first. And I had a simple idea that if we work together, we can do a lot more than what we can do individually. So that was the beginning of the setting up of CHODE. So in 2019, I said to everyone who came, if you want to join us, let me know. And I was amazed, 30 people said, yes, they'd like to work together. So that's how we started. And then you remember that the law on organ donation changed to opt out in 2020. So there was a huge need to explain the change in law from a community perspective. So we started working with NHS Blood and Transplant, as most of you know. That's the arm's length organization which is responsible for organ donation and transplantation in the UK. So we started just focusing on that, producing resources, videos, leaflets, and so on, and going out to the community to explain the change in law, because it's such a big change. You know, suddenly people say, look, if I don't do anything, they're going to take my organs away or whatever. You know the sort of myths people have and so on. So explaining the importance of the family conversations and so on. And then we carried on. That was effectively, so you'll see there are lots of material now in our community about the change in law. But then we started to look at saying, let's build up our capacity. Because organ donation is not an easy topic to talk about. And therefore, lots of people say, let's have speakers from the community, people who can talk from personal experience as recipients and as donors, living donors, or family members of deceased donors. We need people from a religious background who can talk, you know, with some understanding of the complex issues about our scriptures and so on. We need community leaders to talk about these things. And clearly, we need to work with health professionals as well. So if you look at our steering group, we've got all of those people on our steering group. So at the moment, if somebody says, I want a speaker, I don't need to go at all. I mean, there's so many people who can do that. So we've got that capacity in the steering group. And then we started bidding for small amounts of funding from NHS Blood and Transplant. And the two big campaigns we started were at our religious festivals, so at Paryushan and Diwali. So I think this is probably the third year that we have specific campaigns on organ donation during Paryushan and Diwali. We can't ignore social media. So we not only have to have the traditional media, we started having, it was easier to make links with the Asian papers, particularly Gujarat Samachar and Garve Gujarat and so on. So they were really on board. But it's the social media, so you've got Facebook and Twitter and so on. So now we're at a stage where I think most people will recognize us as the leading group promoting organ donation in the Hindu and Jain community. Not only in the community, that's the first thing, because you've got to earn the trust of the community, but also by NHSBT and by some hospitals and so on, where we're doing some work. We obviously wanted to formalize our structures, so we're a registered charity now. And Pramod Bhai will talk about, announce some new patrons we're going to announce this evening, and also the names of the trustees we have. The issues we're talking about don't just affect the Hindu and Jain community, they affect all ethnic minority communities. And we're certainly outward looking. And therefore we started work with City Sikhs, and I'm really pleased that Rohit is here. Rohit and I worked fantastically well on a project with City Sikhs. So thank you, Rohit, for all your support. We started working with hospitals, and particularly with the Royal Free. And can I say I'm delighted Bimbi is here, and my good friend Reza is here as well. And we're doing some work there. And Bimbi and I don't know, we have a bond, because Bimbi has been involved in both my transplants. I say to him, without you, I probably wouldn't be here. And then we started looking at the local councils. The two councils we particularly worked with, as Prafula was saying, are Harrow and Brent. And it was fantastic, Mohammed, that We were together a couple of weeks ago, and those of you who watched the lights, the Wembley Arch, I hope you noticed I was pink for that day. So fantastic work, ma'am. I'm really pleased that we managed to get that. I hope people associated that with, pink is the color for organ donation, as you know. And I see our MP, Bob Blackman, has arrived. And Bob, I was just saying welcome to you. And also just to say thank you, just mentioned, Bob, that when we had our first meeting in Parliament with Lord Jitesh Gadhia, you were there. You'll remember and that was the start of the Jain and Hindus. So thank you for all your support. And now we're doing outreach work across the country. At the moment, we're just sticking to England, but in future, we'd like to go as far as we can throughout the UK. But certainly, if you look at, London is an obvious place, as is Leicester and so on. But now we're doing work in Manchester, in Leeds, in Dudley, in Nottingham, Liverpool, and so on. So wherever somebody invites us, we're happy to go and talk about organ donation with the expertise we have within George. Next slide. So what about the future? Now I'm going to set the context here slightly, because after COVID, nothing is the same, is it? And organ donation is no exception. So I'm just going to share with you just three pieces of statistics. So this is about the number of people who are waiting for an organ at any particular time in the country, of all backgrounds. And most of the people who are waiting for an organ are waiting for a kidney. But we're also talking about hearts and lungs and liver and so on. So if you look at March 2016, we had 6,470 people who were waiting. But we're making progress. Fantastic work by NHS staff and in the community and so on. So if you look at March 2020, 4 years later, this was just before COVID, or just at the time of COVID, we went down to 5,699. Great decrease. Yes, why is that? Because we had more donors, we had more recipients, more transplants. And then COVID hit us. And as you know, hospitals were desperately trying to save our lives through COVID and so on, so that their capacity to undertake organ donation and transplantation was severely limited. So if you look at, these are the figures from September this year, it's gone up to 6,703. Now these are real people. There are over 6,700 people today, yes, who are waiting for an organ. So if they can find one, they're ready to have a transplant. And people like Bimbi and Reza will probably do those transplants. So the reality is that we have gone back in terms of numbers about 5 years. So we really have this backlog which we need to address. So that's the first challenge. We've started some work to say, how much do we know about attitudes to organ donation within the Hindu and Jain community? So we did a piece of work led by BAPS, the temple in Neasden, which many of you will know about, to say, what do Hindus and Jains think about organ donation? So this is 2 years old, so we need to refresh this, because it's not picked out the impact of COVID. But when we asked, and it's a fairly good sample, there's no point in asking just half a dozen people, so it's a fairly good sample of people of all ages. So 60% of Hindus and Jains said that they've had a conversation about organ donation, which was great, yes. 30% have not, so that's a challenge. And 10% have started the discussion but not come to a decision. So what are our plans? Because we believe that, unless an organization moves forward, yes, you've got to move forward, you can't stand still, particularly when you have figures like that in front of you. So we've been focusing almost exclusively on organ donation. We know there's a need for more blood donation in our community, and many of you will have seen a report a few weeks ago that there's a blood shortage, yes, within the UK and so on. So we need to start looking at blood donation, and we also want to start looking at stem cell donation. We think the three of those issues relate together. So there are ways, so that's one of our ambitions, to move, not just covering organ donation, but also stem cell and blood donation. What about hospitals? Can hospitals do better? We think they can. And one of the issues which is emerging is when somebody dies, potentially that person can donate up to 9 organs, if all those organs are good enough. Yes? And obviously those judgments are made by people like Bimbi and Reza and others and so on. But when you look at the statistics, on average, each person who dies in the UK donates between 2 and 3 organs. So the others are obviously not suitable. But who decides what's suitable? And what's the balance of risk there? So that's a debate which is now going on within, I'm sure, the organ donation and transplantation community. And we've been doing a piece of work which we hope that if we have a minister who is now responsible for organ donation, I don't know which minister is in charge of anything at the moment, but there's a report ready for him or her to sign off so that we can publish that report. Yes. And the idea really is that there's huge variation in the level of risks surgeons are prepared to take. And so I know for a fact that the hospital which is top of the list, so to speak, is Addenbrooke's in Cambridge. So if you're in that area, you wait the least amount to get an organ transplant. And then there are hospitals all across the country. So this is an issue which very much is an NHS issue, but I think, because what we want to make sure is that every suitable donated organ is used for transplantation. So out of those 9, if 6 are not going to be used, then we need good reasons why they're not going to be used. And if there is a chance any of those can be used, we should take those. Because you saw the challenge we face in terms of the number of organs we do need. So those are 2 issues, particularly in terms of the hospitals we need to work on. Obviously, you always need funding, so that's always a challenge. Funding is tight, so we need to make sure that we have enough funding to do what we want to do. And the biggest issue is we don't know the impact of COVID on recipients like me, for example, or those who are waiting for an organ and so on. So we want to think about what more support we can provide post-COVID, if you like, to people who are waiting for an organ or those who've had an organ transplant. Now, to do this, we need everybody's support. It's not just something for Joe to look at. And therefore, I'm really delighted there's so many of you here. So can I just say that within the community, we've got some really very influential community leaders in the audience today. With Brent and Harold, I know we've got really influential people here. We've got the mayor, we've got the MP, we've got councillors and so on. Yeah? Today is not the end of this. I will be reaching out to you and saying, look, what can we do more in Harrow and so on, yeah? Not just for the Hindu and Jain community, I'm talking about the whole Harrow community. So I very much hope that we'll get your support. And in Parliament, Bob, I was in Parliament a couple of weeks ago. We have an all-party parliamentary kidney group which has just elected a new chair. So I'd like to talk to you about her work and your support. I know you've been a fantastic supporter of organ donation. So let's get this message to Parliament as well. And in Brent, Mohammed, we've had a chat. I'd love to do more work in Brent. And then in City Hall, we've got Krupesh there. So Krupesh and I've already had a chat. We're hoping to have an event in City Hall. Now I'm going to finish by saying thank you for listening to me.
We are going to talk about the winners of our competition this year. I want to introduce my colleague, Partibika, a member of the George Steering Group, who's going to be introducing this section and announcing our winners today. Partiben.
Prof. Laben's given a background to our competition. It is about raising awareness of the work that we do, and more importantly, raising awareness about organ donation amongst the young. So our competition took the message of recycling and how recycling plastics and recycling organ are similar messages. So each of the entries shown creativity on how discarded waste can be actually turned into a piece of art. Each entry was supported by a statement which actually explains about what they've created. In the 5 to 10 category we have runner-up, and our runner-up is Arna Jain. Arna created kidneys, and her statement says, "It was proven that someone who donates one kidney can still live on another kidney." She used bottle caps, bubble wrap, and a light that came out of broken glass decoration that impacts the ray of hope in darkness. So the winner in this category for 5 to 10 is Zara Mehta. Zara wrote a statement where she said she chose the heart because its function is keeping us alive and pumping blood around the body. It also allows us to feed the emotion of love, which is the most enjoyable emotion there is and makes me happy. Thank you. Our next category is for the 11 to 18. Unfortunately, they were not able to attend, but we do have runner-up who is Karuna Manek, and the winner for this category was Shivam Ronak Koteja. So well done to them, and their prizes will be sent to them. So well done to them. Let's give them a round of applause. Councillor Mayor Janet Moat, I'd like to call upon you to present our runner-up and winners for the whole class category. So our runner-up winner in this category is Jalaram Mandir, Bal Vikas Leicester, and here to collect the prize is Indu, Kritesh, and Vishna Lad. Their class wrote quite a lovely statement, but I'll just read a sentence. Our school has been learning about organ donation and both the issues associated with and the importance of donation in our community. We've incorporated this very valuable message that impacts us all in our Diwali workshop. So well done. So the winner in the category, we've actually got 2 joint winners. So the first joint winner is the Srimad Rajchandra Mission Sunday class. And for here to pick up their prizes, Ria, Vanya, and Shailan Shah. It's a joint winner. So their collage is about heart organ, holding a beautiful flower that shows living just as a heart keeps someone alive. The flowers are also alive. The importance of recycle waste as it is with organs, as both can save lives. They've used waste plastic wrappers, biscuits wrappers, crisp wrappers, nuts, carrier bags, and I think yeah. So please do come and have a look at it because it is amazing. Well done. Yeah. Are they all the same school? Oh, absolutely. Yes, so bring them. That one is the...
That's the Sunday. Yes, this is actually the Friday class.
And the Sunday class. Brilliant, yes, come up. So is it Hiril? Yes. Hiril, Ashi and Krish?
Ashi and Chris, yes.
Well done.
This is the Sunday class.
So they did 2, Councillor Mayor. They did 1.
And now it's my pleasure to welcome the members of the Jain and Hindu Organ Donation Alliance Steering Group. So this is some of the members of the JOD Steering Group. So we don't do this very often, and we don't award ourselves medals very often. So it's our great pleasure this evening to award a small token of our appreciation for all the work that this group of people have been doing for a number of years now to raise awareness of organ donation, not just in our communities, but communities across the UK. What I'm trying to say is we are all passionate in one way or another, and I thank every single person here for the support that you have given this organisation over the last 4 years and our communities as well.
रंगी परोड़ आवी खुशियों संगे लावी हर खाए हय्यू हाय हाय आशानी किरणों बिखराए उमंग भी छलकाए मन हड़वे थी गुनगुनाए हाय 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 हाय
हे शुभारंभ मंगल बेला आई सपनों की डहरी पे दिल की बाजी रे शहनाई 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 ख्वाबों के बीज कच्ची जमीन पे हमको बोना है आशा के मोती सांसों की माला हमें पिरोना है अपना बोझा मिल के साथ ही हमको ढोना है शहनाई शहनाई शहनाई
रास रचिलो साज सजिलो शुभ घड़ी छे आवी आछा आछा टमटमाता शमणाओ छे लावी ओ लावी ओ लावी
So this is Jod's website, and if anyone is not following us, please do on social media. We are JHOD_UK in 2 places and JHOD UK in 1 place. So Facebook is JHOD UK, Twitter, Instagram is with an underscore. The website, as I said, is our sort of window to the world, and we present a lot of really interesting information here. So I'm going to start with our homepage. This is the homepage. This is what it looks like. And then there's information here about what organ donation is, the work we do, a selection of our films that we have made over the years. There's us when we were born in Parliament in 2019. That wonderful piece of work in the middle is a rangoli we did for Paryushan to raise awareness of organ donation at Oshawa Center. And one of the artists is here actually with us, Shobha Ben. That piece of work took 13 hours to create. It is truly outstanding. And then we talk about our news, but the most important two sections which I want to tell people about is the resources that we have on the site. And the resources include a lot of information that we've created ourselves in terms of leaflets and films, but a lot has also been created by other community partners, such as Bharat Bhai's organization, the Jalaram Trust in Leicester. And all of this information, I was saying before, is adapted for our communities. So the language you will see here is very much about how we talk to the community when we're out and about talking about organ donation. There's information from the Jain community, the Hindu community, and we also have a lot of information from NHS Blood and Transplant, so all of their reports you will find here on this site. It truly is a one-stop shop to find a lot of information that we may all need. And then there's a section here where we can go directly from this site to donate. Now, there's a little bit of a debate going on when we talk about donating and signing up or registering our decision, because Bimbi earlier, we were all talking about the change of law. But what we are encouraging people to do is to make that definite decision about organ donation. Talk about your wishes, and please, please, please tell your family about those wishes so they can be respected. Should you be in that place where you're going to be lucky enough to be able to donate your organs, what we are saying is go here, use the link that is here, and you can directly register your decision from this site. There are a number of films on this site that feature a lot of real people and real case studies. And for us, those are actually the things that get us going and get other people talking about organ donation, is their real stories. And in this room, we have so many real stories of people who have either donated their organs of their families or they're living donors themselves. So later, we will be reaching out to some of you that don't have a presence on our site yet as a case study. There are many who are here, but those who are not, will be reaching out to you to cover your stories. Thank you very much, and please do log on. It's all the W's, jhod.org.uk. Thank you very much. And so now it is my pleasure to welcome Pramod Thakur, the Vice Chair of Jain and Hindu Organ Donation Alliance, who's going to talk to us about JHOD, the charity.
I'm very pleased that just last month, on the 26th of September, after some to and fro, JHOD has been registered as a CIO charity. Okay. The trustees have tirelessly worked, along with 30 strong steering group members, to promote the importance of organ donation amongst the Asian communities. And, you know, I've been part of it, and the amount of involvement, the amount of Kirit Bhai keeps on sending emails, Prafulla Ben keeps on sending agendas. I mean, we virtually have meetings on a weekly basis, and everything is recorded. So, wonderful work. Keep it up, everybody, and thank you very much. I'd also like to give you the brief about 3 patrons who are prominently known in the community. First, Lord Jitesh Gadia. The second patron, I'm pleased to announce, is Professor Sir Nilesh Samani. And the next one is Navin Kundra.
Diwali, we had a special project, a campaign funded by NHS Blood and Transplant to raise awareness of organ donation at Diwali. And it was a concept which many people found quite uncomfortable because the stories you're about to hear are very powerful. But it's all about bringing light into people's lives, and that's what organ donation and the connection with Diwali is the connection that we made through this film that you're about to see.
Diwali.
Diwali
Diwali.
Diwali is the
Perfect time.
Time.
to bring light into somebody's life.
It's life.
Life.
Life. I remember the day really well. He'd managed to grab the cord of the blind at the back of the living room. He put it around his neck, and about 8 minutes later, he eventually suffocated.
My dad was 63 years old. One day he collapsed after having a stroke, where it became apparent that he was not going to survive.
My dad was diagnosed with kidney failure. He always had the hope that he would eventually get a kidney transplant, that he would be able to see me and my sister grow up. But unfortunately, that wasn't the case. He died waiting.
I recall them telling us that the swelling on Ari's brain had gone quite severe. After that, every organ would stop or fail. And I remember then Sina said, save every organ, allow his organs to help others.
One of the questions that arose was that he was diabetic, had heart disease and high blood pressure, and whether he would be able to donate. And the specialist nurse explained that they would do all the checks.
The role of the specialist nurse is for us to come in and work alongside the intensive care doctors and nurses and support the family in making that decision.
Ari's surgery lasted 5 hours. They took 7 organs in total, including his heart. They would transplant them into 2 children.
My dad was able to donate 2 organs, a kidney and a liver. He was able to save 2 people's lives.
Hi, I just wanted to announce that I have had a kidney transplant. Thank you to everyone who has supported me.
There's not a day that goes by that I don't wish he was here. But I find strength in the fact that he will always remain a hero for those 2 children and for their families. And for that, I choose to celebrate.
I can confidently say that this transplant has significantly improved my quality of life. I can now do things such as go to university and not feel tired out or overwhelmed by the long days. My story is proof that organ donation can change somebody's life. And I think it's really important to continue having the conversation about organ donation with your friends and family and staying opted in to be an organ donor.
If you were suddenly in a position where you were about to lose your loved one, would you know what their decision was in whether they wanted to be an organ donor? That's why it's so important to have that conversation with your family and friends right now.
I want to thank formally everyone that appears in the film. So we come to the part of this evening where we talk about people who have supported the Jain and Hindu Organ Donation Alliance in its journey, and the people that have supported other people and made their lives better by donating their organs. So I'm going to welcome the Rangoli artists from the Parishan campaign. So Shobha Ben, Palak Bhai, and Dun is not here, but Dun's parents are both here. So Palak Bhai and Nidhi Ben, please join us. So we want to say thank you very much for helping us to raise awareness for organ donation. While they're doing that, I'm going to continue. So I'd like to welcome to the stage Mr. Bharat Soda, please. So Dinesh Bhai, thank you for all the work that you and your son Star does to promote organ donation, and we hope to continue working with you in the future. We want to see a few more events like this, so please do support and help out where you can. Anup Bhai.
Thank you very much.
Going forward, I'd like to welcome Rohit Sagu, please. Last but not least, I'd like to welcome Ram Kundnani from the Sadhu Vaswani Sindhi Center. And our final Supporters Award this evening goes to a lovely gentleman who, before Jod had its own bank account and a proper treasurer, Jayesh Bhai Shah used to look after us and our money. So Jayesh Bhai, can I ask you to join me, please? So amongst us today are living donors and donor families. I'm going to welcome, first of all, Avril Patel, who donated her kidney to her husband, Bharat Patel, who is here with us today. Next up, I want to talk about a gentleman sitting here with us today, a fresh story actually. He's a former president of the Navnath Vanik Association, Mr. Thiru Galani. Dhirubhai's wife, Induben, passed away suddenly last year, and he and his, this year, April. So very recently, and he and his family made the decision to donate her organs. Okay, I'm gonna go back to living donors, and I'm gonna welcome Harsha Kotari, who donated her kidney to her husband, Kirit Kotari. I'm going to stay with living donation. I'd like to go now to Geeta Ben Shah. Back to donor families, and I want to welcome Bharti Ben Shah and Shivani. I'm going to now welcome Meena Ben Modi to the stage. So Dishna donated her kidney to her mom. So this is a double challenge that this young lady met beautifully. And look what she's done. An absolutely incredible thing. And then I'm going to, now I'm going to get into trouble because I probably said this wrong. Mr. Balasubramaniam, who is sitting over there with his wife, who donated her kidney to him. So we had a little chat about your name earlier, didn't we? Thank God I did, yeah. So you donated to him, where? Oh God, no again. No again. And Frank's not even here. Yeah. So was that a while ago?
4 years back.
4 years back.
Yeah.
And how do you feel?
Tremendous. Fantastic.
Is she great?
Yeah, she is. She is.
Yeah, she is.
God is great. She is. The funny thing is, 2 days before, I think on mid-July, somewhere in mid-July, when we were making coffee, she came up and told me, Krishna, I want to donate kidneys. I want to donate organs, because that's when Theresa May was discussing in Parliament about opting out. She said, okay, I've decided I will donate my organs. I said, okay, that's fine. And 2 days later, I got diagnosed with CKD. And 6 months or 7 months later, she ended up donating to me. So life is a circle.
Wow. Amongst us is a wonderful brother who donated his kidney to his sister. Yeah, wow. What an amazing gift, right? You know who you are. Can you stand up, please? Sanjay Bhai, come join me. So his sister's called Chandrika. Chandrika? Yes. Yes. And he donated to his sister to save her life. What an amazing brother. And he's wearing his little pin to prove it as well. So Pravina Ben is a little bit unique in that she traveled to the transatlantic and donated a kidney in the US to her brother-in-law. So she's here, absolutely amazing. Thank you. Usha Ben, yes, thank you. So Usha Ben is here with her friend Varsha Ben. I think there's a bit of injustice in this, as we have two wonderful people here from the Royal Free. It's terrible, right? I do want to thank Bimbi very much, because I think you made me sign that form. It was you. So no, we have to do these conversations and discussions with a lot of people at the hospital. So that brings us to the end of all our awards for our living donors and our donor families. And I get this quite a lot. I don't know why people think you can't donate a kidney and live a good life. This evening we've seen many people as proof of that. So I, as a donor, say to everyone, if you have someone in your family or in your friend circle or in your community that needs this support and this help, please step forward. Thank you both very much for doing this wonderful job. And, you know, I don't know if Bimbi, you want to say something to our audience this evening?
Just to say thank you very much for hosting this event. Thank you, Kirit, for inviting us kindly. Thank you for making us friends of the JHOD Alliance. And it's just wonderful to be here and wonderful to see so many fantastic stories. Reza and I both know how privileged we are to perform the operations and to meet wonderful people with wonderful stories. And that makes a lasting impression on us every day. So we are really grateful for the job we do. And we're very grateful, in particular, to all the donors out there, both living and deceased, as well as their families. So thank you.
Reza?
We are incredibly privileged to do the job that we do, and hearing about the stories this evening really is incredibly humbling. And I hope that the message continues that organ donation is really vital part of giving, and there's no better gift than giving an organ. And again, thank you to all the donors for their generosity, for JHOD for all the work that they do to promote organ donation within the community. May you go from strength to strength. Thank you.
Thank you both very, very much. And Nintha, thank you very much for keeping us on the straight and narrow with those medals for everyone. Wanted to thank our wonderful Mayor for Harrow for giving up your evening to be with us. Thank you. I was going to thank all of the other councillors, Councillor Mohammed Butt, the leader of Brent Council, for coming here today and being so supportive of organ donation.
There's a hero. If you look inside your heart,
You don't have to be afraid of what you are.
there's an answer. If you reach into your soul, the sorrow that you know will melt away. And then a hero comes along
With the strength to carry on.
and you cast your fears aside.
And you know you can survive.
When you feel like hope is gone, look inside you and be strong. And you finally see the truth, that a hero lies in you. It's a long road when you face the world alone. No one reaches out a hand for you to hold. You can find love if you search within yourself.
And the emptiness you felt will disappear.
And then a hero comes along,
With the strength to carry on.
and you cast your fears aside, and you know you can survive. So when you feel like hope is gone, look inside you and be strong, and you finally see the truth,
That a hero lies in you. So when you feel like hope is gone,
look inside you and be strong.
then you'll finally see the truth.
That a hero lies in you. That a hero lies. That a hero lies in you.
Hello, I'm Councillor Janet Moat and I'm the Mayor of the London Borough of Harrow, and I wanted to talk to you about the importance of organ donation. Also, it's very, very important because it does help so many people and it gives a gift of life to people. I mean, it's absolutely amazing to be able to do that. And therefore, I'm hoping that families with religious leaders will discuss it in careful detail about what to do. If you can give a kidney to a person that needs one, it gives them a normal life, which is so important. And also, your life will be just the same. So what a gift of life you can do. And I'd just like to say a big thank you to all the families that are of living donors, and also of ones that can do it when their loved ones have parted from this world. And it's so important to be able to think about that. And also it's very important as a family to talk to people, to make sure that you know what the wishes are of the people in the family. So I do hope all religious leaders will get together and help solve this big problem of donation. Thank you so much.